Did you know that 90% of startups fail? That's right, 90%. According to Forbes, around 20% of small businesses don't make it past their first year, and about 70% close their doors within 10 years. So, why do so many people still dream of entrepreneurship? Today, we're diving into the cold, hard truths about what it really takes to be an entrepreneur, and why it might not be for everyone. If you're thinking of starting a business, this is a video you don't want to miss. Entrepreneurship is glamorized everywhere. Social media, motivational speeches, and books that promise you can make millions by hustling harder. Influencers post from exotic beaches, telling you they're running six-figure businesses remotely. But behind this picture-perfect lifestyle lies a reality that isn't often talked about. Entrepreneurship is full of financial risk, mental stress, and overwhelming pressure. It's not just about following your passion. It's about surviving in a brutally competitive world. Today, we're going to dive into the real side of entrepreneurship and look at why it's not always the dream it's made out to be. Let's start with one of the biggest myths out there. Entrepreneurship equals freedom. The promise sounds enticing. Quit your 9-to-5, be your own boss, and work whenever and wherever you want. But here's the reality. Most entrepreneurs work more than they ever did at their corporate jobs. A study from the Harvard Business Review found that entrepreneurs work, on average, 63% more than employees working a traditional 40-hour week. Take the story of Fab.com, a once high-flying e-commerce startup. In 2011, Fab raised $330 million and was valued at over $1 billion. The founders promised employees the freedom to work creatively and redefine online shopping. But just 2 years later, Fab collapsed due to poor leadership decisions, scaling too quickly, and an inability to turn a profit. Thousands of employees lost their jobs, and the dream of a work-life balance crumbled along with the company. Another misconception is the idea that entrepreneurship brings instant success. Most businesses take years to become profitable, and many don't ever reach that point. The media loves to showcase the stories of tech startups that became unicorns overnight, but that's the exception, not the rule. The reality? 58% of small businesses report cash flow problems, and nearly a third of them fail because they run out of money. One of the harshest truths about entrepreneurship is financial instability. You're no longer receiving a steady paycheck every 2 weeks. Instead, your income depends on the ups and downs of the market, client payments, and your ability to manage expenses. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that 20% of new businesses fail during the first 2 years, and one of the main reasons is running out of money. Let's look at Quibi, a streaming platform that aimed to revolutionize how we consume content. Founded by Hollywood giants Jeffrey Katzenberg and Meg Whitman, Quibi raised nearly $2 billion in funding. Yet, after just 6 months, Quibi shut down. Why? They misread the market and overestimated how quickly they could acquire subscribers. Despite the massive investment, the company couldn't turn a profit, and financial pressure caused its downfall. Similarly, Theranos, a biotech startup once valued at $9 billion, collapsed when it was revealed that their technology didn't work. Founder Elizabeth Holmes painted a glamorous picture of being a female entrepreneur who would change healthcare forever. However, their financial mismanagement and dishonesty led to a spectacular failure, causing investors to lose billions and employees to lose their jobs. Financial stress in entrepreneurship is unavoidable. In the early stages, many business owners pour their own savings into their ventures, go without pay, and take out loans that put them in debt. According to the Kauffman Foundation, 58% of startups begin with less than $25,000. Yet, 82% of businesses fail because of cash flow issues. It's a constant battle to manage expenses, secure funding, and generate enough revenue to survive. The emotional side of entrepreneurship is often hidden beneath motivational quotes and success stories. Entrepreneurship can take a serious toll on your mental health. Burnout is one of the most common issues entrepreneurs face, with a Gallup poll showing that 62% of business owners report feeling stressed every day, and nearly half report suffering from burnout. One of the biggest emotional challenges is isolation. When you start your own business, especially in the early days, it's all on you. You don't have coworkers to lean on, and the decisions you make directly affect the success or failure of the business. This can lead to feelings of loneliness and isolation. Take the case of Zirtual, a startup that offered virtual assistant services. The CEO, Maren Kate Donovan, suddenly shut down the company overnight, laying off 400 employees via email. The reason? Yes, it is burnout. Donovan admitted that she couldn't handle the pressure of managing a growing business, and in the end, her mental health collapsed, taking the company down with it. The constant pressure to succeed also leads to anxiety and depression. According to a report by Michael A. Freeman, an entrepreneurship researcher at the University of California, entrepreneurs are more likely to experience mental health issues than the general population. The drive to keep pushing, even when things aren't working, can lead to a dangerous cycle of overworking, neglecting personal life, and eventually, burning out. The stress doesn't just come from running the business itself. Entrepreneurs face an immense amount of uncertainty. Will they land the next client? Will their products sell? Will they have enough cash flow to make it through the month? This stress is compounded by the fact that many entrepreneurs pour their life savings into their businesses, creating an all-or-nothing mentality. Now, let me tell you a personal story to drive this home. When I first started my business, I was optimistic, driven, and had big dreams of making it big. I quit my job, put everything I had into my company, and worked around the clock to get it off the ground. But within the first year, I hit a major roadblock. One of my biggest clients, who accounted for more than half of my revenue, suddenly pulled out of a contract. Overnight, I lost 60% of my income. With bills piling up, employees to pay, and no backup plan, I was faced with an impossible situation. I remember one night, sitting in my office at 2 a.m., overwhelmed with anxiety, staring at a bank balance that wasn't going to cover the next month's expenses. That was my wake-up call. Entrepreneurship wasn't the glamorous path I'd imagined. It was a constant struggle to stay afloat. That failure, however, taught me some of the most important lessons of my life. I learned how to pivot, how to manage cash flow better, and how to accept that not everything would go as planned. But I also learned that the entrepreneurial path is not for the faint of heart. It's filled with setbacks, and sometimes you have to be prepared to lose everything before you can make anything. Here's the thing. Despite all the risks, setbacks, and emotional toll, starting a business can be the best decision you'll ever make. Yes, it's tough, and yes, it requires a level of resilience that not everyone has. But if you can stick through the tough times, it has the potential to change your financial future in ways that a regular job simply can't. Take Airbnb, for example. In its early days, the company struggled to get off the ground. The founders, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia, maxed out credit cards and even sold cereal to stay afloat. But they kept going, even when they hit rock bottom. Today, Airbnb is a multi-billion-dollar company that has transformed the way we travel. Or look at Apple, which nearly went bankrupt in the late 1990s before Steve Jobs returned and turned it into the global powerhouse it is today. These stories remind us that while entrepreneurship is risky, it's also a path that can lead to immense rewards if you're willing to weather the storm. So, if you're considering entrepreneurship, know that it's not just about passion or following your dreams. It's about grit, perseverance, and learning to navigate through constant challenges. If you can survive the financial instability, the emotional stress, and the uncertainty, entrepreneurship can give you the opportunity to control your destiny and build something truly meaningful. So, what do you think? Have you experienced the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, or are you still on the fence? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.